Hi, my name is Bughuul, and welcome to this animation tutorial. It's going to be fun. It's so cursed. You know what else is cursed? Stick around till the end, because then you can see my PC crash. Alright, the first thing that is important to know is the 3 different pieces that you can have to make animations in Planco 2. The first piece is the rotational piece that rotates, like you see here. The second piece is a vertical piece, and a vertical piece goes up and down, as you can see this way. It's a bit of a better view. Think about vertigo. Vertigo is what you get when you have a fear of heights, and heights you get from going up. So vertical is up and down. And then you have a horizontal piece, and a horizontal piece moves over the horizon, and the horizon is always flat. So it's a sideways flat moving piece. See? So those are the 3 basic pieces that you can use in animations in Planco 2. Go to Advanced Settings, click Attach Scenery, and then all you're going to do is select the piece of scenery that you want to attach. You can attach everything except for pieces that are on grid. So you can reduce size once it's on. And later on we'll talk about attaching blueprints as well. The first thing we're going to do is look at the different settings for each thing. So they're a little bit different per thing, per animation piece. So we're starting with the rotational piece. Alright, on the rotational piece, if you click it, it says loop is selected. That means it's constantly looping. If you click deactivate, it's turned off. Play once every X seconds, you can select it and it will play once every 3 seconds in this case. See? It rotates. And it stops, and then 3 seconds later it rotates again. There we go. That's what that means. And on trigger only, I would not select that because it will automatically do that once you have set it up as a trigger. So let's select loop, and we're going to go under animation type. There's all these different kinds of animation types. So you've got static, which is just still, might as well turn it off. I wouldn't recommend using that. Fast reverse, so when you have fast, it rotates clockwise. Anything that says reverse is counterclockwise. So that's counterclockwise. Then you got slow, and then slow reverse, which is the other way around. And with medium, that's about this speed. And then you have medium reverse. Then you get quarter chops. Now look really closely at the square. A quarter chop is literally a quarter rotation. So it resets, quarter chop reverse. You see, it rotates 1/4. I can show you easily by doing this. For most people this might be obvious, for some people that are still confused, this is what it is. So this is a quarter chop. It's on the right and now it's at the top. If you select just quarter chop, it goes clockwise. So it literally rotates a 45 degree, it's a 45 degree rotation. So it's just a quarter. Now you have, what do we else? We've got quarter oscillate fast. That's constantly, that's ongoing. So it quickly goes from left to right, but only in a quarter. Because it's quarter oscillate is like going back and forth, and then this is fast. If you click quarter oscillate slow, it will do that slowly. See, it's constantly going. A chop is a fast motion and then a normal reset. Like this, quarter chop. See, fast motion and then a slow reset. So fast motion and a slow reset. And then you also have half chops. So half chops are like 180 degree rotation, as you see here. So it's a half circle rotation. And then you also have a full rotation. So let's say oscillate fast. See, that's a full rotation. Every time it rotates, the orange piece resets back on the right side. So it constantly goes from right to right, and then rotates back and forth, counterclockwise and clockwise and counterclockwise. So those are pretty much all the pieces, all the different animation types, and you also have stepped, which is like this. So it does it every 45 degrees angle, it stops. You see? Every quarter, it stops. That's pretty much the setup for the rotational pieces. Now for the vertical, let's attach a piece to this too. We're gonna attach the same type of square. This time we're gonna make it flat. There we go. A flat square piece. Attached. Currently it's on default, so it's on loop. Let's go static up. That's constantly up. Static down is constantly down. Fast down to up. That's constantly up and down. But it starts at the down and then it goes up. And then you've got slow down to up. See, that's just slow going up and down. And then you've got explosive movements. Look how fast that is. Boom. So it goes explosively down and then it goes back to up. Explosive, then down to up. So down to up. And the other way around. That's all there is for the vertical pieces. For the horizontal pieces, what's that shadow? Oh my god. Who are you? Get out of here. I'm just going to move him a little bit. He's causing a shadow on my explanation. Right, horizontal piece. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna pause it here so I can easily attach scenery to it. Let's attach the same square. There we go. There we go. Square is attached. That's an horizontal movement. Now here you've got all sorts of as well. Got explosive. Look at that. All the different types of speeds. And then you also have anything that says pause. So let's say fast pause. So it goes up and then it pauses. And then it resets. See, it pauses on the sides. See, slow pause. It goes all the way up. And then it stops. And then it comes all the way back down. Alright, let me show you how to attach blueprints to it. I've got here a nice collection of all sorts of pieces and objects. If you want to know what this is, go check out Mousetrap. It's really nice. Let's attach a mouse to it. So we've got the rotational piece and I want to attach this mouse to it. What I'll do, I click on my blueprint. Make sure you first place down your blueprint, otherwise it won't work. You want to have the blueprint face the pics that you want to put on. Then you're going to click it, duplicate. Now I've got a duplicate. Now you see, when I hover over it, it's not doing anything. You need to make sure that add to building is turned on. But still, I can't attach anything to it. That is because I'm not in the right camera mode. I found this out the hard way. There's one individual who told me to check my camera modes, and her name is Kayara. Thank you so much for helping me out. So apparently if you go to this camera mode, so you need the camera with the cross in it. Only in that camera mode you can attach blueprints to rotating scenery pieces. So again, click the mouse, copy. I want to make sure add to building is turned on, and if I now hover over it, you can see attach to moving platform pops up. If I left click, it will now has the rotating platform selected. And I'm just gonna pause my, I can't pause my game here, but now I can pretty much place it down. Just left clicking again. And now my mouse is selected and copied onto the rotational piece. I can also do that with the vertical pieces. Now I want to, for instance, attach a box of rat poison to it. We're gonna do that. All I do is I select it. I make sure that I am in the right camera mode. So again, the camera with the line across through it. You select the blueprint, you make a copy, then you hover over it and a little balloon pops up attached to moving platform. You left click and now you can attach it. You left click again and it's attached. And the same thing is for horizontal. I'm gonna attach an already animated piece. So that's also a possibility. You click it, you duplicate it, you make sure that you're in the right camera mode. This one, the camera with the line through it, you copy it and then you can attach it. It looks a bit silly now because it's all like inside it. But it's the same way. So this is how you attach blueprints to moving objects. The next thing I want to talk about is the ability to make sure that you center the pieces that are selected to it, which can be very handy, particularly for the rotational piece. What I mean with that is, if I select any piece, let's say I'm going to attach a, let's say I want to attach a cock to it. No matter how hard I try, if I wanted to just rotate itself, I can just, obviously I just attached it to it, but I can also select the rotational piece, go to attach scenery, and then select the cock. I can do whatever I want, but look how it's slightly off-centered. You see? It's not particularly exactly in the center. This is quite exaggerated, but you know what I mean. You wanted to stay in one place and rotate. That's really hard to do if you have to do that manually. So there is a technique to it. You have to select your cock, and then in this menu you're going to go to snap to position. You turn that on. Now the center of the cock has a little ball in it. You see that? There's two white balls. That's exactly the center of the cock in the middle. Now once that's selected and you want to attach it to the rotational piece, you hover over it and it snaps into position. And the snap is always exactly in the middle. If I look at it now, it is exactly fitted in there and it rotates exactly around its middle axis. That is how you snap pieces in exactly the right position where you want them to be. Again, let's do it with this piece. I'm just going to pause the game because when you attach something when it's moving, it's really hard. Attach scenery, let's place this one down. Again, it will be really hard to have it exactly centered. It will always be slightly offset like this. But now I've got snap in position on. If I hover over it, it automatically snaps into position. Now it's exactly in the middle, as you can see here. And it's the same with this. I'm not going to show it again. It works exactly the same. So snapping in position is super handy if you want things to be exactly centered. Now let's talk a little bit about mirroring techniques. There are different types of mirroring techniques. And with mirroring, I mean any piece that you place down on this rotational platform, you can mirror, which means, you know, when you look into a mirror, you see the same thing that's in the other side of the mirror. That's what's happening here as well. So I'll show you. Attach scenery, and I'm going to use a simple piece of wood. Come on, give me a plank. There we go, we've got a plank. I'm going to attach this plank to this thing. I got snap to position on at the moment. I'm just gonna turn that off so I can move around. So you can see the piece is rotating at the moment. I'm just going to pause the game so it is easier to explain. Attach scenery. the plank. Now mirroring, when you say attach scenery, you've selected your plank, this menu pops up. And if you go all the way to the right here, it's symmetry, a symmetry tool. Currently the symmetry type is none. If I click on this button, it turns to mirrored, and you see what happens? It is like there is a mirror exactly in the middle and it is being mirrored. Do you see? What happens on the right happens on the left. And then there's also rotational. What happens on the right is also what happens on the left, but the parts also rotate, as you can see. So let's just keep it on mirrored. Oh no, once you have rotational selected, you can also select the symmetry count. Currently, the symmetry count is 2, which means there's 2 pieces going to be attached. If I select this to 4, you can see 4 pieces, and they're all rotational. You see? When I rotate them, they all rotate on their axis. So the parts are all rotated 45 degrees. I can make this crazy, and I'm going to 6. Look, I can make a perfect hexagon, and I have to do nothing. Super easy to make objects, and it's kind of satisfying as well. And I can also do 8. Now I can make a star. But also an octagon. Octagon is 8. Very cool. Let's do 10. I don't know what this is called. A tentathlon? I call it a tentathlon. It's a tentathlon. Anyway, it's pretty much a circle, as you can see. Which is also really cool. By 12 it will be an even better circle. Let's place it down like this. Alright? If I click, it's all placed down. And now, when I unpause the game, I've done it. I unpause the game, they all rotate. That's kind of how it works. Now, this is rotating. I can attach more scenery to it. Let's say I want to attach... what do we see? A squid. No, that's a little bit too big. Come on, do something. Let's mark it. A pile of apples. We're going to attach a big pile of apples. Let's increase it. And we're gonna use the mirroring tool. And we're gonna put this on mirrored. Look at this. It's crazy. Normally I'd recommend pausing the game, but let's just do that quickly. It's just so much easier to work with. Here we go. The apples go here. We select mirrored, and it's exactly the mirror. So imagine a mirror between the left side of the apples. It's completely mirrored. I cannot select symmetry count in this place because I'm not working with rotational. So I'm just gonna put it right here. Now if I press play, the apples rotate as well. It's like there's a mirror in the middle. You can apply the same technique to the vertical and the horizontal as well. Let's play around with the horizontal. We go attach scenery. And it's, as you can see, the horizontal moving is only going this way. So the barrels won't rotate. They will only going from left to right. As you can see here. So yeah, that is how mirrored and rotational mirroring works. So hopefully that was helpful. Now the next thing we're going to talk about are advanced basic animations. So these are the basic animations, but you can use these in different ways. First thing we're going to talk about is the rotational way. Let's say I select the rotational way and I'm attaching scenery to it. What do we want to do? I don't know if this is a thing, but we're going to attach a wheel of a wagon. Again, make sure that snap to position is on, so it rotates. Now, I've got a wheel of a wagon rotating there. But if I select this and I press X, I can rotate the rotational thing as well. So if I put it sideways, I can now, for instance, actually make a functioning wheel. If I duplicate this and I move it aside, and then I duplicate these again, and I rotate these, although they rotate the wrong way, I can actually easily fix that. You select it and you go fast reverse so that they all rotate in the same way. Here you see, this is actually the way wheels rotate on a cart. Now you can see I can turn this into a wagon. And also the other thing is, let's undo this. So that's this is horizontal rotation, but you can also do, like I said before, sideways rotation. Now also, if you have, for instance, we're going to attach scenery and we're going to attach a ball to it. Cool, there we go, we have a rotational ball. But what if I want the rotational ball to be going into a bigger circle rotating? If I simply select the ball and I pause the game for a second and I'm just going to drag it out, I'm off-centering it. Look what happens when I unpause the game now. It will rotate into a circle. You see? The ball is rotating, but it's now rotating around the axis. So imagine this figure, this rotational piece. Imagine there to be an axis coming out, something like this. It will everything that you see will rotate around this axis. So the ball will rotate around this axis, as you can see. Again, if I rotate this, the axis will remain, which is parallel to the animation piece, and the ball will rotate still around the axis in the same way. It's the same for these pieces. This axis goes up and down. It's attached to the axis, the yellow bit, but you can't actually see it. The same is with the horizontal way. Make the ball red. There we go. The ball moves in a similar fashion. Up and down, left to right, back to front, or rotating. I can also rotate this back into its original position, and you'll see it rotates around the axis again. It's just to get an idea of how you can do things. The other thing that is more advanced is if you rotate the vertical piece or the horizontal piece, you can also make something move vertically, but in a smaller fashion. You see how they both move horizontally, but the vertical piece has a shorter travel distance than the horizontal piece. It works the same way. This travels between this section and this travels between a much bigger section. So you can both move them vertically or horizontally, but on different distances. Now if I change this, let's say this way, confirm, I'm going to rotate them this way, bring them up. Now I'm moving the red ball vertically. And if I do the same thing with this piece, the red ball is also traveling vertically, but again on a much smaller distance. You see how this distance is much smaller than this distance? That's actually, you can do vertical things and horizontal things with both pieces. And that's kind of what I was meaning with advanced basic movements. You can rotate these pieces to different angles and they can do different things. It's just looking at it from a different perspective. But yeah, I hope this helps. Let's go to the next section. So we've just had a chat about all the advanced and basic techniques. Now let's talk about the expert techniques and start with adding multiple animation pieces together. So let's start with the rotational. Let's say we want to make a car. First thing we're going to do is attach wheels, rotate in this way, right? If you look at it from the side. So we're going to need some wheels. Let's say we very ugly, but this is our wheel. Now we're going to rotate this. Bring it slightly up so it looks like it's rotating. We're gonna copy it because the car has 4 wheels. And copy this again because the car has 4 wheels. There we go. This is our car. Make sure they're all on fast reverse actually, so they rotate in the same direction. Fast reversed, fast. Right, now that we've got the wheels of the car, we want the car to actually, now it's just like it's driving, but it's standing still. We can actually make the car also move. And by doing that, we're going to need another piece, and that is a horizontal moving piece. We want the car to move over the horizon. Pretty much the same way as this piece is moving here. If we group all of these, let's do that now. We group them. And now I'm going to copy them. Make sure that my camera is on the right mode again. Pause the game for a second. Copy them. And if you hover over it, attach to moving platform. That's what we're doing now. And there we go. We've got it attached. Now we're going to make it go up a little bit. Otherwise you're gonna have that annoying piece. Actually, we can just leave it like that. Now, if I unpause it, we have wheels that are rotating as well as a car that is moving front and back. Obviously, these are programmed to keep rotating. So they're rotating one way no matter what direction they're going. But this is an example of advanced movement. You can have multiple movement pieces attached together to create one advanced movement piece, which is in this way a car that's driving. Right, another example is, for instance, let's say we want a helicopter taking off. We're going to use this piece. We're just gonna use it, setting it at fast up and down, this way. Right? We have it paused at the bottom. This is going to be a helicopter. I click on it, attach scenery. Then I'm going to make a quick helicopter. Very ugly. Doesn't matter. This is pretty much the helicopter kind of thing. Now the helicopter is going up and down, but how the hell is it actually flying? It needs like propellers and stuff, right? So we're going to need to add a rotating thing to make propellers. I'm gonna do that, attach scenery, and here I made something first actually. I need to put this onto a piece. So group scenery, leave it there. We're gonna bring up our animation piece. We chuck it there. Select. No. Copy this. Make sure you've got the right camera mode. Copy. Attach to moving platform. And now we're going to have it sit in the middle-ish, because this is these are multiple pieces. I can't exactly put them in the middle. But now, look what we have. We can simply copy this, pause the game, attach to moving platform, chuck it on, and we have a helicopter. Oh, it's one ugly helicopter, but you get the idea. Alright, that's another example of the vertical one. Now with the horizontal one, you can also do some really funny things. Let's extend the travel distance of the horizontal piece. Just going to pause it there. Going to copy it. And I'm going to attach it to itself. You see? Attached to moving platform. It snaps right into place right there. There we go. It's attached. Now on this thing. Let's say I want to add this thing on there. Chuck. And it's on. Now watch what happens when I unpause the game. It travels much faster and at a much longer distance compared to if it was just attached to the normal piece. So it has twice the amount of travel and double the amount of speed because it's been accelerated by the bottom horizontal piece and by the top horizontal piece. Now this is I'll show you here. Now in this case we have 3 animation pieces connected together. We've got the bottom one, then we've got the middle one, and then we've got the rotating top part. So you can do this endlessly, but I find that after 4 or 5 animating pieces, the game starts to glitch. So you can experience a crash, which is not ideal. But yeah, these are some advanced uses of the different animation pieces, how you can animate multiple pieces together. And yeah, I hope that helps you and creates your creativity beyond your imagination. And there's so much that you can do with this. So yeah. Alright. As you can see, I made something really cursed. But this is a good example on how to teach you guys how to hide animation pieces and make animation seem invisible. And for the moment we're going to just look at this crazy person that I made. It's very cursed. But you can see that I've attached the mount to this animation piece. That's literally just dragging it in and out. I've got another piece here that I can teach you guys. But I'm gonna teach you how to hide animation pieces so the animation looks like it's happening, but it is not. You don't see these blue animation pieces. You can actually hide them. So the way to do it is by selecting the moving part, and then just gonna reach pause at either end. Then you're going to move it. You're gonna move it all the way down. Somewhere here. No, still not correct. You're gonna select all the pieces on the part and you're gonna bring that up. Right? It's still not quite right. But you're starting to see now that the blue piece, the mouth looks like it was animated before. The blue piece is now hidden. All you do is you select what you want to select your animation. You click attach scenery. You select all the scenery that is attached. You pause the game, and then you simply bring it up. Alright, now all I have done is pretty much just dragged all the animation that was attached to the piece upwards and aligned it so the animation looks still okay. The actual animation piece is hidden on the ground and you can't see it, but the animation is there. So that's one way on how to hide your animation pieces. You can also obviously hide them and sinking them in. Here's another example. This is the bathtub trap from the mousetrap coaster that I made. You see I've attached a ball to it, but the ball is riding on these rails, and if I just have this strap here, it looks really weird having this ball just attached to the rails. So I kind of want to hide the rails. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the rails with the ball attached, and then I'm going to hide the rails completely. So rails is now hidden. Then I'm gonna unpause it, and I'm gonna wait until the ball is all the way at the top. It's now currently on the ground. I call it. There we go. The ball's now at the top. Now we're going to say edit scenery group, attach scenery. This is the ball. We're gonna drag it all the way back up, just so that it lies here in the bathtub. A little bit more. There we go. And because it was at the top of it, it's only going to go down now. So it's now going to fall either on the ground or probably below the ground, because the animation piece is bigger. But look at it. See? The ball is now animated and you don't see the animation piece. So that's how to hide your animation pieces and have still the animations going. Alright, the next thing I'm going to explain, which is the final and last thing, is how to add a pause in your animations. So here you can see the vertical one. It particularly applies for the vertical and the horizontal one. So let's just look at the different ways that the vertical one can move. There's all sorts of different ways, like slow movement, explosive movement, static movement, but never do you have an animation type that goes down, then waits for how long you want, and then comes back up. For instance, with the bathtub trap, I want the ball to come down and then wait there a little bit and then come back up. I don't want, when you're in the coaster, to see that the ball goes up while you're still around it, so that just makes it look less interesting, so to say. There's a way that you can animate that without having to have the animation type. What you're going to do is, in case of the vertical one, you're going to attach scenery, and then you're going to select another piece, moving vertical piece, right on top of it. So now it looks like this. Kind of weird. If I'm going to, the next thing that you need is a sequencer, and this is where it gets a little bit more advanced because it involves sequencing things. You're going to, let's say we're going to attach a ball, right? There's a ball attached to the sequence, and we want the ball to fall down and then stay down a little bit and then come back up, just like the match from my mousetrap coaster. We're going to edit trigger sequence. We're going to add the objects, these two, confirm selection, and now we've got them selected. We want them both to be fully stretched, like this. Now that way it can go travel all the way down and then come back up again. In the sequencer, we go to, if I just play it now, you can see both of them play on different speeds. So you want to make sure that they're both on the same speed. So this is fast up to down. And this one is, come on, was set on default, so this one needs to be also fast up to down. Now if I press play, they play at the exact same time. Look how much speed the ball has now, because they, like what I've showed before, the horizontal one, they play at the exact same time. So you can do that here as well. Now you want to slightly offset them. So that means that the bottom one is moving in first. That is this one, the top one, and then the other one is going to move a little bit later, somewhere halfway. So what's gonna happen is the bottom one retracts, and when the bottom one is at the bottom, it wants to come back up, but because the top one then retracts, it counteracts each other out. So that means the ball is going to stay down for longer. Hopefully this is about the right timing, so we're gonna find out. Nope. So this is not the right timing, you see? There's barely any difference. So we're gonna just have to have a play around a little bit. Still not right. There we go. Now we found about the sweet spot. So it looks something like this. You see how the ball falls down and it stays down instead of coming straight back up again? That's because when one goes down, the other one stays stretched. Then the other one goes up while the other one goes down. And that makes the ball stay in position because they counteract each other out. That's kind of how you do add passes to your things. You can also do the same thing with the horizontal one. But I want one to go one way, and then when the other one hits the end, I want the other one to be activated. I'm just going to move this all the way out on the edge, something like that. It looks a little bit weird, but you get the idea. Look how much distance it can travel now. Let's also attach a ball to this one. Just so that you can keep an eye out on what the movement is like. Okay, now we're going to sequencer. Add a trigger sequence. We're going to select the bottom one first. And then it's about halfway. And then we're going to put the other one later on. Let's see what it looks like. Almost. Almost again. Just need to keep playing around until you get it. There we go. That's very close. Look at the ball. See how it stays in position? That's very close to what I'm looking for. That's pretty much it. You just have to play around a little bit. But now the ball has a completely different animation. Instead of going completely super fast from left to right, it goes somewhere in the middle and it stays there. So you got the same travel as a normal piece, but you have a pause in between. However, these horizontal pieces, they also come with a pause. So you got fast pause. So they go fast to one way, and then they pause, and then they go to the other way. I'm not sure if this will look like anything good, but... So you get a completely different animation. It's just doing it in steps now, as you can see. But you can play around that way a little bit and find out the right way on how to add the pause to animation pieces. But this is how you do it, pretty much. You can do the same thing with rotational. Rotates. I have never done it before, actually, so I'm not quite sure. But it rotates, and if you add another rotational one that goes counterclockwise, it can go move one direction and then move back the other direction. But you have half chops and quarter chops, so you won't really use it for rotational animation pieces. But for vertical and horizontal, it's way more common to do. So yeah. I wonder actually if I can do this. Let's see how cursed we can make it. Let's attach all these things that we see here. How sad. Oh, it works! Whee! Oh, I'm having way too much fun. So if you add them all together, you can make something really cursed. Holy cow! I think I broke the game. I wonder how far we can push this. I wonder if I can make the game crash. If I can make the game crash. 14 FPS. Oh shit. And there you have it. That's all the tips and tricks that I know of that I can share with you guys. Sorry, I just bought this cursed contraption for you guys. So yeah, there you have it. If you liked the video, let me know. If you learned something new, let me know as well. Other than that, wish you a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.